it has reached to the point now where I am willing to believe every rumor that comes out about Doctor Who. Honestly, every rumor that comes out about Doctor Who, I am willing to believe it now because that is how badly this thing has gotten. When the rumor came out that they were going to retcon the Doctor's origin, they said that, he wasn't a Time Lord and the other, turned out to be true. When they said that, okay, the Doctor was originally a little black girl who got experimented on, turned out to be true. When they turned around and said, okay, the original Doctor was actually a black woman, turned out to be true. When they turned around and said, okay, we're going to make the Doctor into a woman, turned out to be true. When they say, all right, the next Doctor's going to be black and gay, turned out to be true. When they said we're going to do a bi-generation instead of a regeneration, turned out to be true. All these rumors just keep turning out to be true. Well, some weeks ago, there was a rumor that the Doctor was going to regenerate at the end because Ncuti Gatwa was leaving and the new Doctor is going to be Billie Piper, who played Rose on previous Doctor Who. I was like, no way in hell are they going to be that stupid to do this again, because after what happened with Jodie Whittaker, they wouldn't do that again. But like I said, I've got to start believing every rumor because that's exactly what they did. And I have two things I want to go over here. And for even I want to say a big thank you to Fandom Pulse for compiling all this information and getting info before anybody else really have to hand it to them. Let's get into this article here. Ncuti Gatwa regenerates into Billie Piper, confirming every rumor reported for Doctor Who. Now, as I say, Billie Piper originally played Rose when it was David Tennant's Doctor Who, right? He was playing Doctor Who. People like Billie Piper, but there's a problem with it. But this is just absolute ridiculous nonsense, and we all know it. Let me go through this, people, because like I say, I have info that I have to bring out here. I have to thank Fandom Pulse again for it. But continue. It turns out every laughable rumor about Doctor Who this season was true, as Russel T Davies and the BBC went full fan fiction by tacking on a regeneration scene where Ncuti Gatwa transitions into Billie Piper. Doctor Who has been in desperate condition over the last few years. Fans rejected the show ever since Jodie Whittaker's involvement. Yep. Leading to record low ratings, especially in the face of unpopular retcons like The Timeless Child. Yeah, that's what I said. When the rumor came out about what they were going to do with The Timeless Child, I was like, nah, that can't be true. Turned out to be true. So I'm willing to believe it all at this point. It seemed like a desperate attempt to bring back Russel T Davies and David Tennant in hopes that fans would return for the nostalgia of 2005 reboot. This was all combined with Disney throwing massive investment dollars into the show to give it a polish on some of the biggest budgets Doctor Who had for episodes for all time. And where did that money go? I'm sure Russel T Davies' pocket fat right now. Pocket had to be fat right now, because you can't tell me that this nonsense you're putting out there, you spend all that money on. No way. Unfortunately, the 60th anniversary specials revealed that Russel T Davies had a new bent towards extreme left political activism in his writing. He created a new Rose played by transgender black man to fly in the face of fans who love the Doctor's relationship with the original blonde female character. In addition, the first special had constant lectures on feminism and disabilities, even calling David Tennant a male presenting Time Lord to rub it all into fans. Yeah, because it wasn't stupid enough to just do it. No, you had to get to make it even worse. The result was the lowest rated Doctor Who special of all time, which had its records broken by subsequent specials. The third revealing Ncuti Gatwa to be bi-generated by splitting out of Tennant was another insult to fan continuity and was a part of Russel T Davies' favorite thing to do, to try to act clever in its wordplay, bi-generation being code for bisexual generation, which illustrated the propaganda he aimed to insert into the show. So yeah, this was the nonsense that they did, right? And the thing about it is that what people are saying is that, David Tennant's Doctor Who is still out there somewhere. Why? Because that's the nozzle. They literally deliberately did this. And I have thought, so when it is you see the black gay man who they had running around playing Doctor Who eventually fails, they could jump back onto David Tennant and then try to use some kind of nostalgia bait to bring people back. No, it ain't gonna work. Interviews with Davies and Gatwa showed that they were very much intentionally were trying to push the show in this overly political direction. Ncuti Gatwa even famously told fans not to watch the show and to touch grass if they didn't like it. Well, he got his wish and the numbers were not good. They're going to talk here about how, he put in drag queen and all kind of stuff and how he was talking about going out to magic and all of this nonsense. I don't know. It really wasn't that. So, because you are here, a lot of rumors were given to Fandom Pulse by an insider of the show for this season, and every one of them ended up being true. Yeah, like I say, Fandom Pulse got the insider information on this pretty early, so I have to give them credit. Including the big reveal that Billie Piper was then brought back and cast as the Doctor, something that sounded so absurd, fans couldn't even believe the BBC would do it. The regeneration scene, of which there were two in a 20-minute tacked on ending that felt very strange, first featured Jodie Whittaker showing up and assisting the Doctor by encouraging him. It gives the meta commentary to the fans again. Yeah. So the thing about it is that Jodie Whittaker showed up and basically was telling him, okay, what, you're the best doctor out there. I was a little, because apparently Jodie Whittaker could tell people something even though she pretty much tanked the whole freaking thing. After more exposition explaining the ending, Gatwa then runs back into the TARDIS one more time, at which point he regenerates into Billie Piper, who merely says, "Oh, hello," before the credits roll. The internet decried this move as another cynical attempt to bring back nostalgia, but also with a feminist twist, showing that they're doubling down on turning the Doctor into a woman again. It's a gimmick to get the internet talking about the show, which has been notoriously silent in the last few episodes, as even the hardcore fans have tuned out. But yeah, they had Billie Piper show up there, and then the whole thing, and regenerated, and then the whole, "Oh, hello." Everybody was like, this is absolute nonsense. Well, it turns out that may very well have been done as nothing more than a cheap nostalgia bait and something Russel T Davies did desperately to hopefully get Disney to keep pumping money into another failed project. So look at this, another article here from Fandom Post. Like I said, I'm all in on believing the rumors now. Doctor Who insider claims Billie Piper reveal was a desperate plan by Russel T Davies to get Disney to continue the show. Of course it was. A Doctor Who insider revealed that Russel T Davies had no plan involving Billie Piper, and the tacked-on regeneration scene at the end of Reality War was a desperate attempt to try to get Disney to fund another season. Doctor Who has been in big trouble since the Ncuti Gatwa season 1 aired to some of the lowest ratings in the show's history. Season 2 continued trends where it broke records for low viewership. At that point, even the media began to change its tune as to the health of the show, as increasingly Russel T Davies inserted his lash outs at fans into the script of the show. Well, Doctor Who expert Sam Hoovian posted on X as a scoop that shows Russel T Davies has no plans going forward and that this was a last-minute attempt with Billie Piper to get Disney's attention. This is what he posted here. Breaking. The BBC are worried about how they're going to continue Doctor Who. Billie Piper filmed her scene only a few weeks ago as a favor to Russel T Davies, who wanted a regeneration cliffhanger as a last-ditch attempt to convince Disney to extend their partnership. Hashtag RIP Doctor Who. Like I say, I believe it. I believe it's a pathetic attempt to do, and I believe that's exactly the kind of thing that Russel T Davies would do. That's what it was. It was nothing more than a last-minute pathetic attempt to get Disney to stick with them and keep pumping money into their failure. An insider source has given Fandom Pulse more information on the state of the show, which shows how desperate this really is. The Doctor Who insider who broke the story about Jodie Whittaker returning to the show to Fandom Pulse earlier in May and has proven to be accurate so far, told us this: it's looking like we are approaching the end of Doctor Who, at least for a long while. The fans from all corners are universally against the current direction of the show. The BBC is scrambling behind the scenes about what they're going to do going forward, and the people in charge seemingly have no idea what they're doing. An announcement from the BBC could drop at any moment now, but it's clear that Doctor Who hasn't never been in this bad a state in its 60-plus year history. When you go woke, you will go broke. People are not asking for the stars, the moon, and the heavens. All people want is good, solid entertainment. But until you get rid of all these activist nut jobs that you keep hiring, who have no interest other than to just stuff money in their pocket and watch everything burn while they push agendas, you are never, and I mean never, going to get anything substantial out of it. And this is why your ratings are in the toilet. In addition, we were told the decision to include Billie Piper was a very last-minute decision. Around the time the Robot Revolution was airing, they were still planning to go with the cliffhanger regeneration, where we wouldn't see who Ncuti regenerated into. It seems more like stunt casting to round off Russel T Davies to and kind of wrap up the new Who era by bringing it full circle. Billie wasn't even on set. She filmed everything with an incredibly small crew in front of a green screen in London a few weeks ago. And they just pasted her face onto Ncuti's body at the last minute. It's thought that Russell casting Billie was a way to increase audience interest, a bit like casting Tennant as 14, and hopefully then make the show more appealing to Disney. BBC are a bit concerned currently about how they're going to continue the show themselves. Lots of scrambling going on. So yeah, they only did it to hopefully say to Disney, look, people interested, they're talking about it online. Look, give us money. That ain't gonna work. Like I said, Disney have no money to give out anymore. Disney shoot themselves in the foot so much at this point that they literally have no money to help anybody because every set they have to go towards their medical care. That's what it is. So it ain't making sense. The show leak continues. Billie saw it more of a favor to Russell than anything. She's happy to do a special or series, but it's also fine to just film a quick something in an attempt to help out the show, even if it ends up being no use. Russel went straight for Billie. She didn't have to audition or anything. All happened very quickly. I don't even think Russel knows why she has Rose's face yet. We were then told most of season 3, which Russel T Davies has already written, was done with Ncuti in mind, so don't expect the next Doctor, if there is one, to be too different. What a shocker. There were a few alternate takes of Billie's first lines, everything in the unit after the Belinda, Doctor and Ruby scene, which was also heavily reworked in reshoots, was reshoots, as well as the garden and Belinda's house scene and the stuff with 13, obviously. They're not going to admit that Ncuti leaving after 2 seasons wasn't always the plan, because that would mean admitting that season 3 was delayed because season 1 didn't do as well as initially hoped, which Russel will never do. So yeah, like I say, people, I am all in on believing these rumors now, as far as I'm concerned, because when you saw the clip, because I did not watch that godforsaken episode, when you saw the clip of Ncuti basically changing into Billie Piper, you could tell it was done for no other reason than to just push an agenda and to get people talking about it. It is not going to work. These little dangling keys in front of people thing is not going to work anymore. People have seen what you all are doing and they're sick and tired of it. They are sick and tired of it, and they have had enough of being treated in this manner. And if you all believe you can just continue to do this crap and forget everybody gonna just keep lining up for it, look at the ratings and that will tell you something. So yeah, this whole Billie Piper thing, that Ncuti Gatwa originated into another pack of crap from a failing franchise. That's it. R.I.P. Doctor Who. You won't be missed at this point. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like, even hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. You'll be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.